how to deal with procrastination, how to get started on the road to success. Procrastination is not easily conquered. It's something that we all deal with every single day. And it's something that takes time to master. But surprisingly, procrastination is fairly easily mastered. But it requires that we do just one thing. One thing. And it's very simple. It's just this. Step. We take the first step. Now, first step, it's not easy. We all struggle with taking action. Now, even I struggle with taking action, making this video. I thought many times, and I visualized many times about what I was going to say, how I was going to say it, whether this would go wrong or that would go wrong, until I just couldn't get out of my head. But what I did is I just said, to hell with it. Just take the first step. Just get it done. So the next question is, what steps do we take? It's all very well to say, take one step and move in the right direction, but which direction should I move in? Now that's something, of course, that I can't answer for every one of you, but I believe there's some ways, some methods that we can use to start taking the first step towards the road to success, becoming more successful in 3 key areas of our lives. And those 3 areas are health, wealth, and our relationships. I start with health because health is the cornerstone of our life. Without health, we really don't have anything. Without health, the rest of our lives suffer. So, how to get started on the road to success in our health. In our health, we look at 3 key areas. We look at our nutrition, our training, and our recovery / sleep. When we look at nutrition, the first step is to basically look at what we're eating. If we're not eating 50% vegetables, 10 to 20% fruits, 10 to 20% meat, legumes, healthy fats, for example, avocados and nuts. If we're not making those the cornerstones of our diet, if we're not making those the focus of our diet, then we need to look at that. We start there. That's the first step with nutrition. With training, what type of exercise are we doing? Are we doing any exercise at all? Now, of course, there are many types of exercise regimes, many types of exercise programs out there. And basically it takes experimentation. But the first step is to get an exercise program. Now you can go two particular roads here. We can go down the gym road or we can go down the bodyweight road. You can take out a gym membership and find a program there. Where do you start in the gym? You start with basic movements. So squat, deadlift, bench press, bicep curls. Down the bodyweight road, we'd start with the basics again. Push-ups, pull-ups, or chin-ups, bodyweight squats. We make a program based around that. That's the first step with training. With our recovery, with our rest, with our sleep, we make sure that we take adequate steps towards making sure that we're well rested. So we work out as often as we can, but we do take days off from working out. You make sure that you get plenty of rest. There's nothing worse than doing a workout or doing any type of training when you've had about 3 hours sleep. Or even worse, you had no sleep at all. So we must make sure that we get plenty of rest. The next area of our lives is our wealth. Now, with wealth, I like to split it into 2 particular paths. Let's say we have no money and we have money. I think a lot of people will be in the I don't have any money or I don't have much money at all category. What's the first step there? The first step is to provide value to the marketplace. How do you do that? You can either do it by getting a job if you don't have one. And if you do have a job, provide more value. The more value you provide, the greater your salary will become. The higher your position will be. You could either start a business and provide value there. When you start a business, if you can provide value, but you could also pair it with something that you love, something that you're very passionate about, you can bring those two together. Not only will you provide value, but you'll have a very, very good time providing that value at the same time. And that will give you something that you can do for the rest of your life and be completely fulfilled with. Now let's say you have money. What do you do then? What's the first step with all this money that you have, regardless of how much it is? If you have money to spare, some extra money left over after expenses, you can invest it. Put into investments, whether that be stocks, whether that be real estate, whether that be other passive income generating schemes. The idea is to make that money work for you so that you don't have to work for your money. Of course, when we're talking about money, we're talking about work, the next area of our lives, relationships, is something that is a never-ending source of frustration, or can be a never-ending source of joy, depending on how good we are, how constructive we are with our relationships. Now, I like to split this into our professional and our personal relationships. What's the first step there? If we have problems in our relationships, taken with our professional life, the first step, even in our personal lives too, this can be applied. The first step is to make amends. And that comes from you. Now you might be saying, well, I didn't do anything, it wasn't my fault. He or so is a so-and-so, not me. It doesn't matter. You're responsible for your relationships. You are. So you need to take the first step. You make amends. Start from your side. Even if you're not in the wrong, you take responsibility. And you'll find that the other person or the other party involved will tend to be receptive. If they're not, well then you need to seriously assess that relationship. Now with your personal relationships, especially those people that you love or care about, again, what you need to do is take responsibility. The first step for you is to take responsibility for your reactions. In any situation that you're in with your significant other or that particular loved one, you need to make sure that your reactions are ones that don't affect you too badly in your health or other areas of your life. So, what do you do? Well, if you have problems in your relationships, if your relationships are not where you would like them to be, the first step is communication. You need to communicate with your significant other, with your loved one, that you're not happy, that something is wrong. Because if you bottle that up and you don't communicate and you don't take the first step towards making amends, I can promise you that that relationship will eventually wither and die out. And that's the result. The result of that would be ends of relationships, divorces, marriage breakups, family breakups. All of these things come from relationships that withered and died because no one was willing to take the first step towards building a solid foundation. So, in your relationships, remember, you're responsible. So, even if it's not your fault, take the first step towards making amends and towards communication in your relationships. The road to success is not an easy one, but it requires that you do one thing if you're not happy and you're not fulfilled in those 3 areas of your life. It requires that you do this. Step. Take the first step. Take the first step right now by switching off this video, getting up, going out there and getting after it. Remember, step. Take that first step. Do it now.